Okay, so in the today's section, we are going to discuss about the workflow. So first of all, it is a parts of the AEM, and workflow is nothing but the series of steps that each steps perform some individual activities or the task. So like it workflow will support to our assets and the pages. Okay, and workflow, I have already told you, workflow is a series of steps, or you can say it's a series of tasks, and each steps perform some individual task like it's performed like once you will create the workflow, so step will waiting for the user's input. Okay, it will activating a page. Okay, it will send the message. Yeah, so it will send the message. Now consider like we have a two types of step. First one is the out of the box, that means AEM has already created, and second one is a customize. So customized step we have to create it by ourselves. Okay, so now consider here I have a one step. Now consider this one is a container step. And container step, that means this is the out of the box. OOTB, that is nothing but the out of the box steps. And these steps already all AEM has already created. And what is the use of these steps? Then AEM has created. Then what is the use of this container steps? So consider you have a two workflows. Now you have created a workflow. So you have a two workflows. Now this workflow you want to call inside the another workflow. Then you can simply go with this container step. Again, later that we have a participant step. Okay, participant step we have participant step. So why this one is also out of the box steps. So why we use this participant step? So consider now you are in the AEM in author instance you are in right now. Okay, and someone is in another author instance. That means there is a two AEM. Okay, and now you are just doing some task here. Okay, you are doing some task, some particular business tasks you are doing inside this author, and now w- you are sending this to this author, to this another author. That means to another user you are sending. Okay, basically this is our task. That means this one is our AEM. Okay, this one is our AEM, this author instance, and inside that we are doing some task, and this task we are sending to the some another user, and we need a permissions of this user. Okay, so if you need some participant in that, then you have to simply use this participant step. Okay, this is the participant step, and after that here we have a decision step as well. Decision step. Okay, decision steps, that means you will see inside that and split and or split. Okay, and split and the or split. This one is also out of the box. That means Adobe has created. So if you have some logic based on the and the or, you can use this decision step. And later that at the last we have a process steps. Initially, I have told you like we have two types of step. Two types of step we have. First one is out of the box and second one is the customized steps. Okay, customized steps we have. So how we can create a custom step? So for creating a custom step, we need this process step. By using the process step, we can create a custom steps. Okay, by using a process step, we can create a custom steps. Okay, now once you have written this one, after that, these are the step and where it will present inside your workflow model. This all the step, or we have to create this step inside our workflow model. In our workflow model, we have to create this step. Okay, once you will create these steps or once you will create this workflow model, we have to call like this is the logic you have defined it. After that, you have to call this logic. So how it will call and how many ways we have. So we have a three ways to call a workflow. Okay, so first one we have a manually. Manually you can execute whatever you have created, the logic you have created, you can execute manually. Second one, you can create this by using a launcher. That means you can trigger this workflow by using a launcher. Launcher, that means there is no human effort here. We don't need to do anything manually. Okay. Firstly, in the starting, whatever the information it is asking, we have to pass. Second time, it won't ask. Once your user will send the some input, based on this input, it will execute. Okay, and third one, we have a API and the code. API, and we can say it's a code. So this is the backend code. So we have some of the things like workflow session we have, and inside this workflow session we have a lot of method. Using that we can execute this API and the code. That means we can execute, we can trigger this, trigger this workflow model using this API and the code. Now once you will create a workflow model, this model, it will store in two places. It will store in two places. First one, first one, it will store in your conf folder. Okay, so first one it will store in your conf folder, and after that it will store in your global, and later that you will see settings, something like that, and inside that it will store. In the second, it will store in your var variable. Var, var have a workflow, and workflow have a model. Inside this model it will store. Okay, so there is a two places we have. Okay, but this one it will store the, it will hold the design or structure of your workflow model. Yeah, it will store your workflow model. Simple. So the structure of the workflow model, it will store inside this conf folder. But when your workflow model is going to execute, okay, at the runtime, so all this runtime activity it will store inside this var folder. Okay, now just go there and just try to create it. How we can create a workflow model? So for creating a workflow model, here we have options of tools and workflow. So here we have a five activities. Okay, you will see a five tools inside this. So you can create your workflow model here. So we have a all the out of the box workflow model. It has present in this model only. In this model only. So here you see, this one is for the asset. This one is for the assets. So when your assets will, when you will try to upload the file or some asset, that time this model will trigger automatically. Okay, some of the workflow is out of the box, some of the workflow that we have created. Now, if you want to create the versions, you can create from here. But go back, we have something interesting, tools, and you will see the workflows. See here, and workflow model, all your workflow model, it has stored here, or you want to create, you have to go inside these models. After that, here we have a instances. What does it mean by the instances now? So all your running workflow, if your workflow is running, then it will show inside this instances. Okay. Launcher, that means there is no need of a manual work. Okay. Once you have to fill the information, and after that it waits for the input for triggering the work, triggering this launcher. So basically, this launcher is responsible to executing a workflow model only. Okay, but some information it's need. So all your launcher, if you want to create, you have to go here, and out of the box launcher, it has present inside this launcher tools only. Okay, here we have a archive. So all your workflow, successful workflow, it will store inside this archive. And here we have a failure. So in case our workflow is failed, so all failure workflow, it will present inside your failure tool. Okay. Now how we can create a workflow model? So come here, workflow, and we have to come here. And after that, create some basic information we have to type, like a page creation, and just done. So this is the page creation we have created. Okay, this the workflow model is create. Now you can just simply click and just simply try to edit. Now just try to edit. Okay, where is this model store? So you have to come here. This conf we have, just try to refresh it. So this conf we have a global. Inside this global settings, and you will see the dams, and somewhere we have a, oh sorry, not here. Settings we have a workflow, not a dam. And this workflow we have a models, and here you see your workflow is created. So this is your workflow model, and this workflow model is nothing but your CQ page. So internally this node it will create as a CQ page only, and all this page related information or your workflow related information it will store inside your JCR content. Okay, so indirectly it is a page only. So this page is created using some template. So this is the by default template for creating a model. Okay, for creating a page, for creating a uh, workflow model. Okay, as a page. Yeah, this is the thing. Here we have a flow, and after that we knows that we have a two types of see, when you will create your workflow, you will see the start node and you will see the end node, and you will see some steps. Okay, so click over here, and after that, see, first of all, this is the parses component. This one is nothing but your parses component. That means this one. Using that, you can insert the other steps as well. You can insert the other steps. So this one is your flow. That is nothing but your parses component only. Okay. After that, here we have a initiative participants. So this is the step one. Okay, this one is the step one metadata. So we have only one participant step. Okay, that means this one. So this is the step we have. This is nothing but your participant step. Okay, so this it has storing here. Okay, here. Now you can delete this. You can delete. Come here and just try to refresh it. Okay, so this metadata has deleted. This metadata has deleted from this initiator participant. But the thing is, it's stored in the two places. First one in the conv global, and the second one here we have a var. This var we have a workflow. At the last, you will see the workflow, and this workflow we have a model. And inside this model, what's the name of your workflow? A page creation. So this is our workflow. Now just try to refresh it. Okay. So still, I have deleted from here. I have deleted these steps. One step I have deleted from there, but still I'm seeing this node zero. That means this is the start. Okay, start, and this one is the end. So here we have a start, and this one is the end. But still I'm seeing this node one as well. So whatever, whenever you will do some changes inside this workflow model, you have to sync. And once you will sync, it will store in your runtime model. All the activities, changes that you have applied, all the changes will reflect to your runtime model. Okay, so now when you will sync from here, sync it, come here and just try to refresh it. You want to see this node 1. Right click and just try to refresh. See, now you are seeing only node 0 and the node 1. And this is the data that is related to this node 0, but we haven't passed anything. Okay, this is the type and the title. Now I have to create. Now I'm just taking one example. So here already one out of the box step is already present there. Create a version. So I'm just taking this create version because it's very easy for understanding the workflow. Okay, so now this is the step we have created. It will create the version wherever you will apply. So it will create the version for this particular thing. So click here now. You have to pass the information. You can just name it your own. Page version creating. Page version creating. Okay, we have to click on this handle advanced, otherwise it won't reflect. And here we have arguments. That's it. So this is the thing. You just simply have to right check mark it and simple sync. Okay, now again you can go here where it is page creation. Click here and then right click and refresh it. You will see the three nodes. Okay, so now we got this one title process. This is the type is the process. Okay, title we have a page version creating, and this is the description, and this one is the metadata. This one is the metadata of this node one. So indirectly, here this is the backend code. Okay, this is the backend code for the page version creation. So using this, we are achieving the page creation. Okay, now we have created. Now we have sync as well. Now first step we'll discuss like how we can trigger our workflow. Like we have created a workflow and we have a three ways to triggering a workflow. manually, launcher, and the API and the code. First, we'll see the manually. Come over here, and here we have options of here page information. You will click on the start workflow and start the workflow. So it is asking for the payload. For running your workflow, only you need two things. Two things that you need for running your workflow. First one is a payload. Payload, you can indirectly say it's nothing but the paths only, where you want to perform the where you want to perform the workflow. Okay, where you want to trigger and in which path you want to trigger. That's it. After that, you need a workflow model. So all our logic, it has present inside this workflow model only. So when you will call by using a API and the code, and when you will start the workflow, one method it has present inside your session object. You have to create a session object first of all, and after that, inside that we have a one method that is workflow. Start workflow. Okay, there you have to mention three things. Okay, so first of all, that is a payload. So this is your payload. That means you need a payload, and after that the workflow model you need workflow model, and later that you need a metadata. So this, if you are not mentioning, that is also okay. But these two things are important for running your workflow. Okay. So it has firstly it is asking for the payload. So you have to select the payload where you want to perform this operation, that means this workflow. So you can just select content. I'm going, this is my website. For this EN, I just simply want to create a version, just right check mark, and after that you can give the title for EN page version created, and run. Now this workflow has applied to our particular page. Now you can go there and try to check it. So this is my EN, just try to refresh it once. Okay, so this is my EN. You have to click here. After that, you will see right now we are in the content only. We have to go inside this timeline. And after that, once you are going inside this timeline, you will see show all options. But here you see it is reflecting here only. New version that is 1.0 is created. See, few seconds ago the version is created. Now you can click here and directly go inside this versions. Okay, so now you will see here new version that is 1.0 is created. Okay, after this is about the manually we have trigger it. But if you want to trigger using a launcher, then you have to come back, click over here. After that we have a tools, workflow, and you will see this launcher. Okay, now you can click here to create a launcher, add a launcher, add a launcher, and here we have a event type. So internally they have uses the event listener and event handler for making this event type. We have a concept that we'll discuss later, and this is the important thing. So what you are doing actually, so we are creating or modifying or removing. So we are creating. So once someone will create, that time we have to perform our activity. But in which page or in which node they are just creating. So we are trying to create the CQ page. CQ page. So once your CQ page will create, that time once your CQ page someone try to create, that time this workflow will need to perform. But where? So we have to perform this workflow in this payload. So you have to select this payload, come over here, content, and after that we have the same thing, search site, US, and EN we have. Just simply search it. That's nice. Here we have a run mode. Right now we are in the author, so no need to change. Okay. And at the last, this is the thing, but what actually you want to perform? See, we are saying here, like when somebody will create the CQ page, when somebody created the CQ page, that time we have to perform in this particular path. But what you have to perform? So for that we have to mention our workflow model. Like we have created that model, we have to mention it. Page creation. So I think so this is our model, page creation. So you have to take this page creation. First of all, see in C, there's nothing in the C. That means page creation is our model. You have to select this, and after that we have to enable it, activate. This is the important. Why? Because sometimes we we create it, but we don't want to execute. When time will come, that time we want to execute the workflow. So you can just simply deactivate. But now we have to execute, so activate it. And here, this is the description. You can add it and create simply. Okay, that's nice. After that, oh, after that, now we have passed the information to the launcher. Now, if I try to perform some activity, that time it will execute automatically. I don't need content only. Now, where I have applied to this EN, okay, to this particular EN I have applied. So if I'll try to create now, see that trigger is waiting for the input, user's input, and right now I'm a user. Okay, so now I'm trying to create a page inside this EN because we have mentioned this EN only. Try to create a page, and here I'm just mentioning US, create it, and just simple done. So now what I have done, this is the EN I have created. Now once I have created, you have to come here and you can simply check the timeline. See, a few seconds ago, the version is created. So it will represent this version like this. So this version is created few seconds ago. So what I have done there is simply, first of all, I tell them like when somebody try to create something inside this page, that time that workflow we should need to uh, trigger. This is the thing. And at the last, we have a backend code. That means we have a API and the code. I'm not discussing these things, but how we can execute because we haven't set up our backend code. Okay, but how we can do that thing so public? Just simply, I'm just saying like we have one session. Okay, we have one session object. Okay, this is the session object we have, and inside this session object, we have a uh, we have a lot of methods. So this session basically provides a lot of method. So get the model. So firstly, what you need, get the model. So you can just simply mention the model here. After that, once you get the model, you have to store somewhere in model. So in the model you will store. After that, you have to take the path. That means payload we have to take. Okay, payload we have to take. For that, new new workflow data method is there. So I'm just simply define new data. Okay, and after that, this one also will return payload. Payload we have to store, and again the last method we have, that is session, and here we have to mention the start workflow. That's it. So here we have a model and the payload. Okay, and all these things, see, one common thing is there, all these three method it are storing inside this session object only. So this session is responsible to provide the lot of methods. Okay, and later that you have to mention the payload and you have to mention the workflow model. Then it will execute. So when you will deploy this code, it will automatically execute this one. Okay, because we need only two things. We knows that get model. Okay, so this is the model we have to perform, and where we have to perform in this payload. So we have taken the payload, and you can just simply start the workflow. That's about the workflow, guys. Thank you.